Gemusetto Machu Preschool.
I'm Makasu, and I'm 3 years old. Math monsters have kidnapped all my friends in the playground. I'm gonna have to use my knowledge of shapes to get to them. This one is square. Which hole is square? I gotta find which one do I shove the square? Which one is it? How do I put it? How do I put it? How am I gonna put it?
Welcome back to Owls Only, the Adult Swim podcast. I'm the god of podcasts, Bryce Hope, and I'm a horny little bitch boy. And we have a very special guest today. He is the creator and star of the show we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Simonet.
Hey, what's so funny? So you're the god of podcasts, and your catchphrase is a line from Gemusetto. That's so funny. I just touched my cat, and she jumped away. I think there's a static electricity in me.
The god of static electricity.
I'm not a god of anything. I don't believe in that.
Screams.
I don't believe in that shit. I think I shocked it. I shocked this cat, and I want to clarify that this cat does not jump. She was just lying down on me. She's very sweet. It's not like that. There's that one clip, if you watch Gino Samuel or whatever his name's 80-part series on Chris Chan, where they're holding their cat. And it's like going, and it makes everyone think that this person abuses cats.
Is that a thing? Is that like a thing in the Gino like Christian documentary community?
I think there are theories that Chris Chan hurts cats, but then I've seen them act nicely with cats.
Oh, I thought you meant like Gino Samuel, not like Christian.
No, Chris Chan abuses the cats.
Okay, that I can believe. I thought you meant there was like a theory where like the documentarian like themselves abuses the cats.
That'd be so funny.
It'd be wild. But yeah, so we're talking about Gemusetto Machu Picchu. This is kind of our April Fool's episode because as those of you who listening to this know, Gemusetto came out, like the first season came out as one like 4.5 hour long epic that aired from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. on April 1st, 2019. So we can just get right into this. So what's the story behind the show? I mean, you can tell like kind of like the Lazo story about like how this show got started essentially.
Absolutely. And I'm also absolutely, and this is where you edit back in through the magic of editing. We just cut out a large argument that I had with B-Man about a lot of things. Yeah, it started with I was making them for Adult Swim streams. I was making shorts in 2018. That was the year before it, right? That were primarily Dave Bonowitz, my co-host for Blood Feast, which was the crossword show, was out of town in Japan. And I was working with, don't know if she was an intern at that point or brought on as an employee, but Clara Murray, who I forgot to credit in the Gemusetto credits. Of all the huge credits at the end of Chapter 5, Clara Murray, who designed the original character designs based off clothes I was wearing one day, went in the office, and a drawing of Dave. For some reason, that was like the one name I forgot to put in the season 1 credits, and I've always regretted it, and she doesn't talk to me anymore. No, that's not true. But you don't know. You never know if someone secretly resents you or not.
Yeah.
Because you can resent someone and tolerate them and talk to them sometime, and when you make a mistake like that. So here I am publicly stating, I forgot to credit Clara Murray. Anyway, it wasn't just my fault. We could blame all the producers too, but whatever.
Yeah.
I was making shorts with her. I would write a script. She would start drawing, tracing poses, and based on an outfit I was wearing a red T-shirt that said Stax Music on it that I actually got from Matt Harrigan, who's an old Adult Swim guy, worked on Space Ghost and stuff. I was at a Thanksgiving night with him and his wife one year. I believe Dave and Cho showed up. Maybe Cho didn't, but I spilled red wine on my shirt, and he said, "Take this shirt," or his wife said, "Take this shirt." And that's the shirt I was wearing with khaki pants and sandals the day Clara Murray drew me as Makasu. in a series of little shorts we made for Blood Feast that were about, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes about a guy who's in South America to get the treasure of the South Americans by fighting all the Incan gods in tennis. It was a little inspired by Tintin in the Land of the Lost Sun or whatever the fuck. I think earlier that year, I had that. I kept saying to myself, I want to make an anime. I want to make an anime. I want to make an anime. I think I just binged a bunch of shit, like binged Steins Gate that winter,
Yeah.
like just a bunch of shows, and it was just in my mind. It's like, I want to do something like that. I want to do something like that. And I know that, like for instance, you can look at Ballmasters, which is another far more beautiful looking anime parody show on Adult Swim. But I know from Christy being a friend of mine that we come from different angles. I was, instead of coming from uh, 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 I'm not a big shonen fan. I'm not a big old robot anime fan. I'm none of these things. I
Yeah.
like the overly pretentious ones where they talk too much. And so I was just making these things where I'd rant, and then suddenly there'd be a Food Wars like moment where in the tennis match, Makasu would explain the trick and he would beat the Incan god. Oh, here's the way I actually beat you, Ikeko. I such and such, you know. They explain how they win, which is a lot like a Metal Gear cutscene or something like that.
Throw up on
Everything's
the ice
explaining.
cubes.
They're all up in the ice cubes. Which one's that? Well, yeah, that one's from the real one. Whatever. Regardless, we made like a few of these shorts, and then I was like, I like this. I like this. I'm gonna pitch it as a 4 a.m. project to Mike Lazo. I send him an email. I don't even think he watches the videos. I think he, at a certain point, is like, you know, we've just had this meeting about what to do with April Fools, and you sent me this email for this 20-minute idea, which was like, yeah, well, if we want to, we can use what I already have, which is like a skill set I have, I would say, is whether or not like you like what I make or not, I am pretty good at getting people to make the right things for me and being able to make enough of enough of it myself or break it up in the edit like that I can have enough control to make a proof of concept, which is not something everyone can do, especially writers or actors, you know, to make just like a cartoon look the way almost it should. You know, and to put enough sound and music to have it just like punchily carry you way through. I remember at some of these Adult Swim like company-wide meetings, they would show us like an animatic for a show they were unsure about. And an animatic, a lot of these, they lack the sound effects, they lack the music, so already it's bare as hell. So here I am with like, I have these tight proof of concepts. Sure, they're barely any animation. It's glorified drawings and After Effects effects, but it's I've layered it. It's dense, and it's got timing, and it's got my aesthetic in it. And I had it, and I was like, this could be a thing. These shorts, we could, if we wanted to, we could redo them, make it look better. But the response wasn't redo them, make them look better. It was, could you make it for 6 hours in April? And this was like September.
Yeah.
And this was, I remember like saying, let me think about it. But within like a few days, I was like, yes. And I was calling my mom and being like, do you think I should do this? Like, this is a huge opportunity for me. Like, not that it, in retrospect, I don't know. It's a huge portfolio piece that I think is awesome. I don't know if it might not matter in 20 years. No one will give a shit. Maybe it'll give me something someday. Maybe some kid growing up who likes it will be like, dude, this guy, we got to get him.
My thing is, it's on HBO Max, and
it's one of the few things they haven't removed, and I think it's because they don't pay anything for it.
Yeah, because they don't have to pay residuals. They can just
I don't get any residuals. I don't. Nothing. Nobody gets shit.
But I've told you this before, where I was at a party and I met these two people who I'd never met before, and they talked to me about like Gemusetto.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome. That makes me feel good.
It's on.
But I was going to say, despite all that, not many artists, and I will call myself that right now, have the opportunity to be obligated to make something on a tight timeline that's that big.
Yeah.
And that, like, you know, I was in planes for work trips and personal trips, finishing these scripts. I was getting people to help me write scripts. Anna
Yeah.
Thomas wrote like all the high school sections, the first few drafts of those. I had people in the office who were helping me with scripts. Kim Manning did one, and I was just like collaborating everything together and just trying to make it work, working on a
Mhm.
small budget with the people at Awesome Inc. Liz Mackey was working there at the time. She's someone who used to work at Adult Swim and is
Yeah.
someone I've known for, I guess, about a decade now. Time flies. And it was just like an awesome opportunity. So even if it like, I mean, it was an experience. It was experiential as fuck, but it was
Yeah.
also like uh, the perfect place to like prove myself, at least to like Mike Lazo and some people in the building. Uh, like I could that I could pull this off.
Mhm.
Uh, and it just like I said, the opportunity to express yourself to that to an
Yeah.
audience of that many people. Not many people have that chance, man. That's awesome.
No, that
That was
is
sick.
awesome.
So that's what happened was like I was given a pretty short turnaround, and Awesome Inc. even hired like just kids off Instagram who were like
Uh-huh.
learning animation or just out of college or something like that. A
Yeah.
lot of them were awesome, but it was like this can't be done the way normally things are done, and especially since I had like this idea that like if we can't make it look beautiful, let's make it change all the time so it's
Uh-huh.
interesting.
No, yeah.
Um,
Also, speaking to that about like people like remembering it in 20 years, one of the comments on the YouTube video of the full like 4 hour thing is this guy talking about how his girlfriend broke up with him while it was on
oh
TV
yeah,
during April Fools.
yeah.
Um, so did Lazo did that idea just kind of like spin out of Lazo's head at that meeting? Was he just kind of like make it for 6 hours?
Well, he came to my office with Matt Harrigan and said,
Mhm.
like, yeah, you sent me that thing. Can you make it 6 hours? And I'm pretty sure he hadn't watched the shorts yet.
So did when you come up with April Fools, because this could also be our April Fools episode, or did Lazo do like come up with all those or like him and Harrigan, or was it sort of like a
I
collaborative
think
effort
I
among
the times I was there after that year, well, we had there. So one, I know Lazo is obsessed with Fish Center, and I know his whims probably dictated some of that.
yeah.
Uh, some of the April. Okay, my cat's stepping on the. I said I want the piano on, and now she's stepping on it. Now I'm really gonna have to hurt her.
She's adding she's adding dramatic tension to it.
I'm gonna punch this cat right now. What if I had a sound effect queued up of wow, and it
Yeah,
was
just like
like
the yeah.
I'm a freak. I'm just hitting animals. I don't do that. Um, so I don't think it was just him. I'm not absolutely sure. It really depended.
Yeah.
I think if people came to him with ideas, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I do know. I remember being told we're doing Fish Center all night, like in 2015 or 16,
Yeah, it's the coin
16,
hunt one.
and 15.
Yeah, because 16
And
was
that was
about the
probably just Lazo being like, "Can you guys do this?" I probably that was probably that.
yeah.
This one was they were having meetings about April Fools in the fall, and they came to me. Afterwards, I all I can attest to is the year it was Adult Swim Junior. I
Hmm.
remember being in meetings about that and helping discover what it should be.
Yeah.
Helping like with like a group of people, including Michael Cahill and Michael O'Lean and stuff.
Well, for 3 years, Gemusetto was part of April Fools
Yes,
because
and that was
yeah.
deliberately. I did that on purpose as much as I could because the second year, the second year, what was we did the Post Malone thing,
Yep.
which was I'm sure Harrigan. I think Harrigan got everyone on board for that, and I thought that was fun one.
No, that's
I like
probably
doing that.
that's one of my favorites, I think.
Really, that's good.
I've been watching them live since 2014, since I was like since like in high school, since I was like
Mhm.
2014. And so that's of all the ones I've seen live, that one and like Game City are probably my favorite ones.
Really, what did you like about the Post Malone one? Because that one was like, in terms of the brunt of the work, it was like Harrigan and I writing ideas while we were in Houston
Hmm.
about to record Post Malone, and then Dave Bonowitz and I just doing all the post.
Yeah.
Eventually remote, right? I think the last week we were remote. That was when COVID was about to start.
Yeah, because I was like 2 weeks into COVID is when that happened.
Yeah.
But I love that one specifically because I'm just like I do this podcast and I run that Instagram account because I'm a freak and like I get into like Adult Swim stuff the way that like 30-year-olds get into like the MCU. And so just and I do love the pranks where they're fucking with people. I always want to see like the tiniest little like fanboy part of my brain always does want to see like, oh, what if we see something new this year? And
Hmm.
so the second they got into Primal, I was like, oh shit, here we fucking go. And then as soon as I realized they were doing new episodes all night, because this was after the 12-ounce mouse special, before season 3 of 12-ounce mouse. And
Yeah.
I was just chomping at the bit for more 12-ounce mouse. And I was like, holy shit, we're gonna see more 12-ounce mouse tonight. And so that was a big part of it. The Tender Touches episode that aired is one of my favorites. There's one of the best Bradley freakouts in that one.
Is that the one where about the divorce?
Yeah, that's the one where you
Where
fire
we
him.
fire Brad,
Yeah.
and he was really, we technically, here's a behind the scenes that's probably been said before. I think so. Our producer was like, we can't pretend to fire him. That's not
Mhm.
how it works. We have to give him a schedule of the days he's going to work. So he
Yeah.
was scheduled for future days of
Uh-huh.
recording, but we said, yeah, that's a wrap on Brad. And he was still a little confused. Which is good. If
um
anybody wants to watch a show where one of the stars isn't quite sure what's happening most of the time, but tries to roll with it, it's like Paul T. Goldman, but less unhinged.
I love Tender Touches. But yeah,
I
this
also
whole
recommend
night
Paul. I recommend Paul T. Goldman. If you like Tender Touches, watch
recommend
Paul
the
T.
Cleveland show.
Goldman on
All right.
Peacock.
Um keep that in mind. But I very much like when they have a lot of variety too, because it's like all night you don't know. I didn't know it was gonna come up next because there was like the first YOLO episode that night. Of course, the big infamous thing from that is the Smiling Friends pilot, which
Oh yeah.
I actually have I have a few questions about that. Were you involved at all with getting that on the air, like getting that pilot on the air?
No, I mean I was shown it a few months before, and I said I
Yeah.
liked it. No, I mean we just got the encouragement was like let's show new things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be lame. You're raving about saying the new episodes. All I did was edit Post Malone clips and make
Yeah.
stupid jokes. I didn't do anything. I didn't make sure there were shows. I guess Tender Touches, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like my
And
part was the sloppy framework.
the other one I want to ask you that's like it's been a big fan theory in some Adult Swim circles is that the Dave in Daveland is Dave Bonowitz.
No, complete coincidence. But it does
Oh,
look like Dave, doesn't it? So
it
let's
really
say so.
does.
Let's say
And
maybe I was lying just now.
because I kind of wonder if like how many times that like Cusack and Hadel like would just pop up at William Street for like meetings about like whatever shows. I do kind of wonder if like they just wanted
Never
to put
saw
Dave
him.
in there.
Never saw him. The only people I saw show up were Thundercat and Million Dollar Extreme. I
Oh
never saw
no.
anyone else show up.
Oh no.
Listen,
Thundercat 4.
uh, like I mean, other people showed up. The
Yeah.
Thundercat sticks out in my head, but like show makers, no, they're probably meeting with people in L.A.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I don't. I don't think they have any idea who Dave is, which is unfortunate.
That is
You know, they
unfortunate.
should
At
really
least
reach out to us and make us a big part of their show.
well, Cusack's in this show. Cusack's in Gemusetto, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's friends. He was friends with Swap Shop, and Zach White put him in Gemusetto,
Oh,
which is
okay.
nice. Which is nice. Uh,
That's kind of I mean,
but
if
I'm
you
not cool enough to be friends with Cusack. No, only cool white people like Zach White people can do it.
yeah,
I'm not cool.
only cool white people like Justin Berlin can be friends with Michael Cusack.
No, but I did put in. I put in some people who were just had around. A lot of it though is just obviously people around the office. What you
Yeah.
have.
So about Gemusetto, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people get wrong about this show, and you see it a lot, is a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is just Perfect Hair Forever," but to me, I think that fundamentally misunderstands this show and also its influences because I mean, I do like Perfect Hair Forever, but that is much more like that is a very Gen X understanding of anime, you know?
Yes, it's very much. It's my mentors and friends Lazo, Harrigan, Malero, probably
Mhm.
Willis. But yes, it's a lot of Gen Xers who, and those guys are all a little too cool for anime. And I
It's
remember
like
DeMarco saying Gemusettu's like Perfect Hair Forever if they understood anime. And I was like, yeah, it is different. I mean, they're both sloppy. cheap parodies. But I would say Perfect Hair Forever isn't really a parody. It's really more like
An in joke.
I would say it's those guys' style. It's a William Street show
Yes.
with anime looking characters in it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
It's very shitposty.
I
And
mine is still shitposty, but mine's shitposty in like I said, I'm taking huge inspiration from shows where they talk more than actually do things.
mhm.
Like the fact that Metal Gear Solid 2 cuts to, because of budget concerns, just cuts to people talking on a radio just to
Yeah.
explain things for a long time, or in Food Wars where they explain how they won, or in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure where like the combat, like one whole episode might have like two bits of action that happen, and when time is slowed they monologue for like a minute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't there obviously when they're making Perfect Hair Forever. I was like 4, but Perfect Hair for I mean, a lot of William Street characters like they've made that circle like Aqua Teen, 12-ounce mouse, Squidbillies. It does seem like they have a bit more like reverence for those characters, whereas in Perfect Hair Forever there isn't really too much to like grab onto, but like in Gemusetto, like Makasu's like a real character who goes through like real character growth and like an arc and stuff in both seasons. And also it feels when you're watching Gemusetto, it feels more personal, whereas Perfect Hair Forever does feel like guys just like trying to make each other laugh. You know what I mean?
Well, and in some ways, I mean, whichever one is more successful comedically to people is completely subjective.
Yeah.
I happen to very much like both. Some people might not like either. I think Perfect Hair Forever, I think it stems from like, oh, people want Toonami. What if we made this to fuck with
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
People wanted
Gemusetto
stupid
was more
anime.
like, let's make something even more insane and expansive and with its own lore. It was like a different approach to a similar joke.
Yeah.
Uh, but and it's less. I don't think it goes like this is the new Toonami show really at any point. It just goes. It's just the show.
Yeah.
It's not, there was no build up to it. It just starts playing and went all night.
Yeah.
I think uh, in some ways, I mean, the Perfect Hair benefits forever because like that's some of the funniest people I know sitting in a writer's room beating the
Yeah,
shit out
absolutely.
of every scene and doing that in the edit. Whereas Gemusetto uh, didn't have the luxury
Uh-huh.
because I just had to get it all out there,
It just
you
had yeah, it
know.
just had to get done.
And that's one of my biggest flaws is sometimes I just go with the flow, roll with it, and just let like first take be best take. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
I do obsess and I get tighter on it, but Gemusetto is really just like letting it go, just go, it's happening. And I look back on it and I'm like, man, if I redid it, I would do it differently. But at the same time, despite that, despite the fact I'm like, what the Lake Titicaca tricky colon? That's terrible. That's stupid. It's not, but not good stupid. There's so much in it that like if I think about it, I'm like, this isn't the funniest I could be.
I mean, I was listening to that part while I was at work today because I wanted to just like put as much of it in my brain
Yeah.
as I could, and I was like laughing. It's funny.
Well, I still think it's funny. I think my acting's funny. I think Ty's acting as the game god of tennis is funny. We didn't
Mhm.
mention that. We made that god of tennis character look like Dave, Clara,
Yeah, it
and
looks like
I.
Dave, but
It
it's
looks like Dave,
Ty
but he
pitched
doesn't
down.
play it. It's all Ty pitched down.
He sounds like John from Delocated. Like it's pitched down to a point that I don't think I could ever pinpoint a voice actor without like just knowing it was Ty.
It was funny because we do one song duet together, and
Hmm.
he has to sing the song higher so it could be pitched down to be in the right key as me singing the song, which was the one who's like, "Hold my hand, we're spinning." I don't even remember what the song's like, but yeah, but no, I was saying like, yes, it's probably funny. I do think if I scan through it, I laugh. From an intellectual point of view, it's like this could be tighter, this could be prettier, this could be a lot of things,
Hmm.
but that doesn't make me regret it or want to change it. Like I
Yeah.
actually, because it's its own weird thing. It's almost like you're watching someone have to improvise 6 hours straight. You know?
One of the things that you said that's always kind of stuck with me about this show, and it's kind of how I view the show, is that it's almost a metaphor for itself, where Makasu is completing this crazy task. It's like you come like completing this crazy task of getting this done in like 8 months.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I didn't go into the project like this isn't Cynic Doge. whatever that movie's called. This isn't me being like, and I'll make it about how I made it, and there's all a metaphor. A lot of that I found while making it, but then I tried to lean into it a little. Like, yes, not only is it, this kid who's an overachiever, so that's me. I've been called too big for my britches by people I like, which is being, because I work in bursts that are sometimes impressive to the right people, not for
Yeah.
everyone, but and in that sense, like I want to take advantage of everyone who thinks that I am impressive to them and just do as much as I can because that's when I feel happy. And then when I'm not making the thing, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'll even have, I've been working on a personal project, and if I finish a piece for that, and then I take some time off, especially now that I'm unemployed, so I'm taking a lot of time off. I have to find a weird balance because I can get so annoyed with myself, like I didn't do anything. Like if I maybe just need to write a script in one day or feel like a little productive. So this is that's one bit of the metaphor. It's about like someone who isolates themselves in their craft. For Makasu, it's being a sportsman and finding relics. But then there's also the additional layer that it kind of becomes about appropriation. Because I remember specifically early on, and I mention it in the piece, like, what are you doing making a piece, a friend said to me, about that's anime, Japanese, about South America, when neither of those things are you. I mean, you could argue my dad once was a cameraman for NHK. Does that give me any Japanese cred? I don't know. Doesn't. In fact, I was hanging out with my dad. I hadn't seen him in a few years because of COVID, and so I saw him for about a month in November because I hadn't seen him in so long. And he was flipping through channels, and he passes this show called Captain Tsubasa, and he's like, here's those mangas, because in France they don't call them animes because anime in French is the verb to animate, so they're called mangas. And he says, these are hideous. And this is a guy, like, he loves graphic novels. I mean, Belgium and France, like, they're famous for their graphic novels, their Tintins and their fucking Smurfs, Les Schtroumpfs, Boule and Biel, Gaston Lagaffe. There's so many things. And they're not, like, necessarily in newspapers. Like, they're in books.
Yeah.
Like, they're full page. So, like, he likes art drawing. He likes cartoons. I remember he had VHS as a Betty Boop for me when I was growing up, which is why I'm so horny.
You could have been Mr. Boop.
I could have been Mr. Boop, but someone else did that. No, but that said, I'm saying, is my dad, does he give me a pass for being Japanese adjacent? No, he hates the way anime looks. So yes, arguably I have no business making this. And then while I was finishing it, I was trying to lean into that a little.
Yeah.
Because I realized, Makasu is going around the world putting things in his back pocket, which is originally, obviously a simple joke. Oh, he doesn't have a pocket dimension. He has a back pocket dimension. It's in his pants. But he's literally putting cultural artifacts from different civilizations in his back pocket for his own personal white growth as a white male, a white individualist male, which is, it's like it's an exaggerated way to put it. I don't necessarily give it. Go on. Sorry.
His back pocket, British Museum.
Yes, basically that. Yeah. And so, and that's kind of a reflection of the project. This is me shoving a lot of ideas into something for my own individual success, for my own, like, self-expression. I'm taking religions from around the world. I'm taking South American aesthetics. I'm taking my cheap interpretation of anime. But I say that it's not just my interpretation. I think despite the fact that this is so, like, you can watch it and be like, this is a Maxime Simonet project. I mean, it just smells like me. There are also so many other people who contributed in their own ways. Like like I said, the animators Awesome Inc. found, to do this shit on a budget and to give it its own style. So that's also, I think, a fun part of it, is that it's both the most self-indulgent thing and also a huge collaborative endeavor.
So how did you like map out the story when you were starting this, or did you just kind of like see where the story like took you? Like, did you know that when you started it that like the god of tennis would be like Inti at the end? I
had that kind of as a twist since the beginning.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can find. I actually have my old outlines. I started by I broke it into a chapter per hour, and Lazo gave me kind of the structure of it, making it a bunch of 3-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would just break every hour into 14 3-minute episodes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Vivi.
She's starting
There's
the
a time I
animation.
was streaming with there's this time I was streaming with Derek,
Mhm.
and we were having connectivity issues, and I think we both thought the other one was fucking with us, and that wasn't happening. And that I was thinking, like, what if I was just hitting those keys?
So yeah, you're
And
just
there
hitting the
wasn't
keys.
But no, I broke it into outlines. And I can see actually in here an early version of like chapter 4. Chapter
Mhm.
4, its original outline was just doubles tennis special thanks episode. Chapter 5, arrived to hot spring Mama Killa season, because I'd kind of done a short with Mama Killa.
Yeah.
6, Viracocha, then build up to Inti. And then on
Hmm.
the bottom here it says zoo episode. That didn't happen. So that's but my original shit was like, fuck, I've got this whole document where I just did a plot outline for every 3 minutes. But I had originally had an idea since the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna pick you up so you don't go walk on that. I should have never turned that on. I had this idea in the 20-minute version
Mhm.
that it would be a show that never existed and then was just full of ads for products about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
oh, toys for kids, gum, all this shit. Like it was half the show was the fake cartoon, and
yeah.
then while you went into commercials, there'd be other commercials. So it was like about over commercializing shit. I don't know. It's
Uh-huh.
not a great idea. And at the end, everything was going to explode, and the sun was going to win. Like that was always the idea, is that the sun would win. It was almost like Dark Souls. Like by winning, you get eaten by the sun. That was
Yeah.
always the plan. There's a bigger plan than you. The age of light succeeds itself. A god of the sun would always beat a human. That doesn't make any. There's no way. Everything
Yeah.
else maybe makes sense. Nah, not really. But that just felt like the epitome. Like there's no way you can fucking win this. And I want it to be a tragic ending. But it wasn't necessarily gonna be the god at tennis at first.
Yeah.
My original version, though, it ended with a quote that I always liked, which was from this. Let me see if I can find. Is there GSMP half hour? Do I have that written somewhere? Yeah, I have. Oh, I have a list of all the fake ads I wanted to do.
Hmm.
Gemusetto Machu Gamu gummies, canoe drawings from Benjamin Rivera, who is a famous Adult Swim fan, special toy in popcorn bags that might melt, Frank Zappa album, what? Gemusetto Machu matchstick, Girls Gone Wild type ad. Who knows what I was writing? But I had some quote about like people expressing themselves only through the media they consume instead of having their own personalities, which was, I guess, kind of the metaphor there. Like, oh yeah, we become fandoms. We share gifs of people who make more money than us, like
Yeah.
saucy expressions from the Real Housewives of Miami, instead of our own expressions. Though that's kind of changed. I feel like TikTok has made people express themselves even more.
Yeah. No, definitely. One thing I
With
do
their
love
butt cheeks,
one thing I
right?
do love about the sun winning is that like you kill off back pocket dimension flying bear. It's kind of like a cutesy like mascot, and like that's like the end. Like he does not come back ever. Like he's dead. And I kind of love like that you went there, because even like a lot of Adult Swim shows wouldn't kill off like their kind of cutesy character that like fans love, and it's like, no, that's it.
Mhm.
They're not coming back. They're dead. You know what I mean?
I yeah, but I had the freedom to be like, this is it. This is the end.
Yeah. It's just
Which
that.
is, even when I made season 2, it was like starting from scratch. One character's left. He's dead. He's in the afterlife. I don't
Mhm.
need a season 3.
I just remember like when Back Pocket Dimension Flying Bear gets burned up. I remember every time it's like, oh shit, like it's so brutal. Just like, oh my god,
I love the animation in that final confrontation is really
it's
good.
so good.
I'm gonna. What does Marcus you say? He says something like that.
So
But
how did you?
I'm gonna tell you though what I was missing in that show,
Uh-huh.
and this is coming from me. I just finally finished the animated version of Stone Ocean, the most recently animated JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I had read it before, but
Yeah.
I was watching the animated version, which has been on Netflix for a little while,
Hmm.
and there's so much just people screaming each other's names at full volume. I
There's
should have
there's a
had
lot of
more of
that in
that.
Gemusetto, I think.
There's not enough. I should have screamed it louder. I should have been like, God! I do that once, right? Don't I have one scene where I go, God of Dennis?
Well, the
In the
one
scene
that
written
sticks
by
in my
Chris
head,
Arison.
the one that sticks in my head is him just going Makasu. It's just
That one's so funny.
that one just always stuck in my head.
Oh, Ty is so funny in that. Here's what I wrote. I found my original outline. In between each episode is packaging that reminds us of Saturday morning cartoon blocks, as well as produced 15-second ads for products that are directly related to the show. Gum, action figures, things referenced in previous episodes, pierogies or shrimp, kids' tennis equipment. These would start just stupid, but gradually get pushier and darker. Ugh, so stupid. I am shitting on my own writing. As the marathon goes on, the opening would get bustier quicker, and eventually the whole marathon would break down into a grim final episode that involves the protagonist being burned as kindling, along with the weakened Incan sun god Inti, in order to fuel the sun's light. Wow, in the original, Inti burns himself to fuel the sun.
Oh,
The credits are disappeared and are replaced with a poetic section that's more akin to video art and subliminal messaging / hypnosis. It hammers in some pseudo-philosophical musing on consuming media, then it ends. And the quote was, "We define ourselves based on the media we consume and share gifs of people who make more money than us instead of expressing our own feelings." So this was the last three sentences, last paragraph of
yeah.
the Gemusetto Machu Picchu Morning Cartoons Marathon when pitched as a 20-minute thing. And this is the thing that got me the 6 hours.
Well, that is very infomercials. That is very like
Yeah, and that's what I was going for.
yeah, that's a very 4 a.m. thing, and definitely that's something that I feel like a lot of people would have like shared or shown people. But I love the 4 hour version we get because it's just you get to go to like so many places with like the 4 hour version.
Oh yeah, I like it. I
But
think it's cool. I think it's cool. I shat on it, but I tried to turn that around and say like everything I could say I would do differently.
yeah,
Like it's not like something where it's like shit, I wish I could redo that now. It's like no, that was so of that moment for me
yeah.
and so of the process. And I don't know if anyone will ever quite understand that in the same way I do, which is
No, yeah.
okay.
Which is why
But
you're the perfect
you,
guest for this
they were
episode.
forced. A few 100,000 people were at least forced to watch it.
While their girlfriend broke up with them.
Well, hey.
Um, so what I want to know is how did you possibly manage to do this and at the same time do an hour of Fish Center and an hour of Blood Feast every day?
I came in on weekends and wrote and edited. I also work very fast.
Yeah.
I have a skill ceiling that I try and push up by learning things, but I'm impatient.
Hmm.
I am guilty of doing the things that come naturally to me. I got
Yeah.
into acting as a kid because memorizing lines was easy.
Yeah.
So I am efficient to a fault, which is why collaboration is always necessary. Like there's
Mhm.
certain things I can make happen. I can see a certain vision, and it's always for me my process expanding and growing has been to like, hey, I need to settle down now, revisit it this way. The current project I'm doing, uh, I'm doing. I've improved my drawing enough to not only draw the characters for
Mhm.
it for the most part in the shots, but also like doing storyboards.
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I don't like to spend more than a day on the storyboards
Well, yeah,
for a few minute piece.
for that unnamed project, when I do like think about that, I'm just like, it does make me think like how you're doing that without like the Adult Swim budget. I'm just kind of like, how is this like look this good? You
Oh,
know?
it's because I'm learning Flash
Oh, cool.
and because I'm stealing backgrounds from an '80s TV show.
But
But I'm not charging advertising money. There's only a Patreon,
so
so
there you go.
there's nothing illegal about it.
Exactly, can't
It's
sue.
just collage work. But you see, like cheats like that, like that's how I get things done. You
Yeah,
know, like uh, which is why streaming was a good place for me because a lot of that was like in the legal gray area.
yeah.
Didn't have
Which
the
is
same
why
rules.
there'll never be any official Fish Center releases because like every episode has like 18 licensed songs in it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But
but
yeah, no, I just I worked quickly. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Awesome Inc. was doing all the animation work. I busted ass, I think, to be done with editing all the radio plays, which I filled with stage directions.
yeah.
I think by the end of November, and by early November, they were getting the beginning parts
Oh wow.
to animate them. Yeah, because the animation takes way longer, of course.
So
Even
did you animate anything in William Street? Like was does William Street like animate? I know they you guys did Tender Touches at William Street, didn't you?
we did the first episode.
Oh,
But
okay.
the first season was done by a guy, a fucking fuck. Now I'm losing his name, but he was an awesome guy who we managed to afford.
Mhm.
Uh, and now I feel like a dick because I don't remember his name. Let me find it in my phone. See if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think that I know how William Street works, but I'm kind of just going off of like Fish Center and also just like what I've heard from
Nothing
people.
is animated there unless you take the initiative to animate it there. I will say it that way.
Okay,
Uh,
that's all right.
like
That's what I'm thinking.
we were man, what the fuck was this guy's name? Jesus, I feel like a shitbag. I liked him. I liked this guy. You know who would remember is Lauren.
Just pull up the episodes on Tubi. Oh, you know what I should have done? I met
But no, but Tender Touches, we did the first episode. It was
yeah.
Lauren and I. I did the background, she did the characters, and then I would take her character poses into After Effects, and we mixed it with the unedited audio for the most part. The other ones were done by Ed Jacoby, that was his
Mhm.
name, and then the
There we
second
go.
season was done by Six Point Harness, and the third season by Awesome Incorporated.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
cool.
so I there are some bits of Gemusetto Machu Picchu that were done in house. Like there's a scene I added near the end, that whole one with the fucking the Jade Emperor
Mhm.
been playing rugby.
Yeah.
It was a scene that I felt like needed to add, and I had an intern at that time. She did a lot of the drawings, and then I would edit it together. Zach White did all of his part, which was the scenes like it's I think 3 minute sections together of Eastern European drag racing or Formula One racing. That's
Mhm.
it. With oh, what's it called? Anyway, that was cool. And Zach White, he like any other part that was like written by other people, they would write like at least a first draft of the script, right?
Yeah.
And then I would take it from there.
Cool.
But
Um
Zach White's part, like he actually produced all of his.
oh wow, really?
Mhm.
Um
But I
but
remember
yeah,
we went
I
back and
should have
forth. At first, I gave him like really vague directions, and then the more I went in, I was like, "No, this should actually be about sports." Actually, and so we made it. At first, his first scripts weren't about sports, and I think I had wrote him like, "Yeah, write about the wind." And then I think Lazo was like, "That part's too confusing," and it's like, "Yeah, well, it should be a flashback about how we got his flying bear." I mean, it was so much was just compromising and working quickly like that. It's like
yeah.
getting small notes, but being like, I don't have time to. I need to just make it completely
Well,
different.
that makes it feel like nothing else that's been on the network, I think. I think that's like especially the first season, that's what makes it feel like completely different from anything else in the network is that you can feel like this it's getting done in 8 months and so it gives like this very like frantic like pace, I think that is very specifically like Gemusetto.
Well,
But
and the thing is, if we were less like too cool for school at Adult Swim, which I no
mhm,
longer work there, thanks to corporate layoffs.
mhm.
It sounds so pathetic to say.
I mean,
But
they gutted
if
Adult
we were
Swim.
if we were less too cool for school there, we would have done something that the way I think they would have done it on MTV or Comedy Central or a Viacom owned place. It would have been like 8 months ago we saw how could we make a 6-hour cartoon and that's meant, like
Yeah,
that would
but
be the marketing.
that's
And Adult
lamer
Swim
though.
would never have that be the marketing. Yes, but it would probably be more successful. If people knew how long this took to make, they would have a completely different perception of it. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it's like, no, don't explain it. Just let it be it, which is what I
yeah.
also like.
Just let it be the thing that it is.
Let it
So,
be the thing that it is.
how did you get hooked up? So, Tay Zonday, the Chocolate Rain guy, does some of the theme songs, and also who's the guy you got for the song in the first episode that's really good? Is it Father?
Father does songs in the first and second act and the fourth act.
Okay.
Uh, and that was, he had been on Fish Center, and I think Lazo said, you should just have some of them be music videos.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's 3-minute segment chapter. We could go into my outline. Let's go to the abbreviated outline. Act 1, part shit. Part 12. Nakasu plays a legal match of tennis over father trap music. Oop.
That song
I
is
need to
so
go
good.
check my oven. It's really good. So that was just, he's interested in Adult Swim. He came on to
Hmm.
things. He probably worked with DeMarco on something at some point. DeMarco might have suggested him. I don't know. Tay Zonday was close with Rich Arenas. Arenas. I mispronounce his name. I don't know. I work with him all the time. If
Hmm.
anybody wants to know the unnamed project I work on in my personal time, he does like all the music for that.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think the first thing we worked on together was not even worked on together. I think he composed. He was a watcher of Blood Feast, and I had done a thing where it was about Rick and Morty, and I couldn't show the episode anymore. So I
Yes,
just let
classic.
interns throw avocados at me and had people call in to complain they couldn't see Rick and Morty before we did a staged reading of it. And some people on Reddit said I should be fired for making fun of the fan base or something like that.
Well,
It was so stupid, but it was also awesome.
I love that. I love the Taco
And
Bell one too.
but yeah, that one was fun. We just eat Taco Bell, and it's in the reflections of our glasses because
I
we
love
couldn't
that one
show the
so much.
episode. But I improvised a song over stock music at that point, and it went like, "It's Rick in the morning, baby. Where you calling from? Something,
Hmm.
something, something." And I just went like that. And Rich knew Tay Zonday from just doing music and being proactive himself
Yeah.
because he works in Hollywood as a guy making music and doing sound mixes. And so he had Tay Zonday sing that. And then somehow it turned into, can you get Tay Zonday to do anime songs? And then I would write him lyrics in English, and Rich would sloppily translate them into Japanese and have Tay Zonday sing them. Apparently,
Oh,
Tay took Japanese in high school and helped a little, but they're probably all wrong.
The openings, there's a really good YouTube video that just puts like all the openings in one like 10-minute long
Hmm.
video,
Yeah.
and it's so good. I listen to it all the time. The openings are like just incredible.
What's your favorite one? I think I have a favorite one, but what's your
It
favorite one?
it might be the one with for chapter 4. I think that one's my favorite. I love the animation in that one. I love Naughty Naughty Hot Tub Dancing, of course. It's Stone Cold classic. They're all good, but I think 4 and 5 are probably my favorites.
I think yeah, Like a Sports Ball, I think is my favorite.
Yes, I couldn't place the title of it. But yes,
I
love
think
that
it's
one.
also so beautifully animated. I
Yeah,
forgot
it's amazing.
who the woman is. I forgot. I think she was a student at SCAD at the time. We got her to do the first promotional piece for Gemusetto season 2.
Hmm.
That was like a recap trailer, and that was
Yeah,
awesome. I'm
yeah,
excited
yeah.
to for that.
Oh, it's
Uh,
beautiful.
here's great comments from that YouTube video though. I hate that the openings were better than the show. Should I reply, "Fuck you, fuck you"? Here's my address. Come suck my fucking fingers after I punch you out, bitch. Another ghost on YouTube. I'm gonna fucking kill you. This is a real threat. Just try and arrest me. I'm too fast.
Oh my god.
I'm too
Um,
fast to be arrested. I got 3 bikes. I will slice you.
This is like tangentially related. So I was into Fish Center in like 2015, and then I was into it again in 2018. And then like I got into it like really, really hardcore during like quarantine, and that lasted until like now, essentially.
Hmm.
But the thing that got me into Fish Center again was somebody posted in the Adult Swim subreddit, like, is Dave okay? And I clicked on it, and it was, I think it's from like April. And I watched the episode, and it's Dave like drinking, I think it's like a LaCroix, and he just starts like just screaming at the top of his lungs at like everybody on the show.
Well,
And
we would we were doing that so much, and there was like so many like people involved every time. We'd get upset at each other for real.
yeah, that's
It's
the thing.
tough to work that closely with people. Can
I
I
couldn't
actually?
tell
I
if it
need to
was
go
real or
check
not.
on. I need to go check on my pork butt in the oven. I think I need to
Okay.
take the lid off. I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
My girlfriend's gonna say I checked it, but I need to take the lid off. What the hell? Sent me a list of Chris Chan crimes against animals.
Oh
Okay,
no.
Anna, can you hear me right now? I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. Okay, Anna, remove the lid and continue cooking until a knife or fork shows very little resistance. So check it now. Maybe there. I mean, there was a bone in there, so it could be done. If it seems shreddable, turn it off. If not, just leave it in there for another 30 minutes, and then we'll check. There we go. This is how you cook meat. Just a great J. Kenji Lopez. I got his book for Christmas. I love that guy. He has a great series he was making like in February where he's like, hey, I'm going to show you how I make my barbecue pork butt, but without the barbecue sauce, and
Mhm.
then show you how you can use pulled pork that's that's adaptable to like pasta or a fried rice or a soup or like, you know. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. That sounds
Cool.
like a fun idea.
Yeah. But no, I that episode of Fish Center I remember because it's like this is also, I had not known that like this is my first like exposure to like Tina being the fifth host, because I had not known that she had joined as like a fifth
Hmm.
host. And like Dave is just screaming, and then Tina sounds like actually genuinely scared, and then Matt Harrigan just goes, "What's a Dave host it since he's such a badass now?"
Yeah, Tina. I pushed her to be involved, and then I made many jokes at her expense. I put her on the fire pan. I will take responsibility and blame for that and for all the trauma it's caused her. But I also think she's very funny.
No, I love her in season 3 of Tender Touches. Wonderful performance. Um Yeah, so speaking of like Fish Center and like chat and stuff, so was Bendy Rivers created for like Benjamin Rivera? Or did you have that character that you
No,
like?
it was created. That's definitely it's a joke on his name.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
but also it was like, oh, I want to make Zenigata like from Lupin the
mhm,
Third.
yeah,
But yeah, no. I knew pretty early on that he would just play him, and I
yeah,
think a fun fact: Lazo at the time I think was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which I just tried to turn on today and didn't get through the first cutscene
uh-huh.
because I was like, I don't want to play this shit. This is like watching a fucking. Well, I was gonna say a Scorsese or a fucking a Tarantino movie, but I feel like
Mhm.
both those are campier
Yeah,
than Rockstar. No offense, but it's like crime drama, you know,
yeah,
which I like. But then it's like, no, there's gonna be like 80 hours of this.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna play it right now. Maybe I'll pick it up in 2 more hours. Who knows? But Lazo was playing that, and he named his horse Bendy Rivers. He loved the name so much.
Did he get that from Gemusetto, or did he come up
Yep.
with that and then
No,
you?
no. He liked it in the script
Okay, that's
and in
funny.
the radio plays. Yeah.
Let's see what else I got here. I can go through some of the questions I got from the Adult Swim Discord. Someone wants to know what your best Lazo story is. If you don't want to tell because he's your mentor, that's fine. But just what your best Lazo story that you can tell us is.
I watched him kill someone.
You watched him personally chuck Old Blue into the ditch
No,
behind
no,
Main
a human
Street.
being with a. So you know Cutco knives?
Hmm.
They sell scissors that you can cut through pennies with. And he was doing a demonstration on his a man he hated, who was
Hmm.
an illegal alien from Beirut. and he cut his throat open with scissors. I don't know. No, I don't know what my favorite Lazo story is. Man, I like that he named that shit Bendy Rivers. I love that he
Yeah.
came to my parking lot on like that last Fish Center episode and
Oh
hung
my
out, you
God.
know?
Yeah. That's
Uh,
that's seared into my brain too.
I love that he said women can't write comedy.
Oh
That's probably
no.
my favorite.
Oh no.
And then tried to create social media accounts to respond to it because he's like, shit, what did I say?
Oh, the one person he's ever gotten to a fight with on Twitter is the creator of BoJack Horseman.
Oh man, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there are plenty. I just felt honored to be liked by a problematic fave.
So another one, someone wants to know like what you thought about like Gemusetto airing on Toonami. Like did you think it fit on there, or would you rather it air on like the block proper or
I don't remember. I think I wanted it to be like that, and I also think I wanted it to be 14 weeks of 11-minute episodes instead of what ended up happening, which
yeah.
was better because they were written as half hours that I broke in half anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I like it, but I know it wasn't really for the audience. And I also have been experimenting with drawing characters in anime styles more and more recently for my own personal projects. And I do see ways I I don't know. I know there's probably a way to make it fit better.
Yeah.
I think the epitome of that, but it just goes to show it probably cost maybe as much as the whole season. I can't say for sure to do that
Mhm.
Ballmasters special.
Yeah.
That looks like it belongs there. I don't know. I don't know where it should have belonged. I thought it was a cool idea. DeMarco was nice to me about it. Um, I know some Toonami fans didn't dig it, and I'm like, okay, you know,
Well, they're watching
what
they're
can I
watching
say?
anime weekly on cable. Who the fuck cares what they think?
Well,
Um,
I care because that I wanted people to watch it. You know,
yeah,
you gotta care. I can't be too cool for an audience. Then what's the fucking point?
fair.
Uh,
Um,
and I would like it to have fit anywhere. I would have liked to have 10 times the budget. I would have liked a lot of things. That
yeah,
said, though, when I look back at clips of Gemusetto 2, I'm like, I think this looks cool. I laugh
it
at it.
does.
I think it's, I'm impressed that it fits together in my own little Max logic. It's not for everyone, but I like, I like what it is. Okay, and she's on the keyboard. Oh no, okay, we're all good. Alrighty, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
The next question is, what does Jason DeMarco's office smell like?
Ooh, smells like him blasting music and playing video games during work hours. Piece of
Um,
shit. No, he doesn't
another
smell bad. I was probably the worst smelling person at the office, or one of them.
one of them is, what is your favorite and least favorite TV shows on right now, like non-Adult Swim shows?
You're a freak. I'm watching. Speaking of anime, I just read 20th Century Boys, and I'm watching Monster, which is by
Mhm,
the same writer, which
mhm.
I don't think was ever released on American TV. So that's like old. That's in standard def. But that's something I'm watching and I'm interested in. I was really, really into Paul T. Goldman. In
Mhm.
some ways, it felt like a less morally gray rehearsal, even though it's also very different.
Yeah.
There's also absolutely people who are involved with it. Um, it's a documentary, kind of, about a guy who thinks his wife was part of a prostitution ring and scammed him out of a lot of money, his ex-wife, and so he wrote books about it because he couldn't get justice, and then he wrote screenplays. So
Mhm.
they talk to him about it and look into it in this documentary while also creating reenactments of his screenplays. And it's funny.
Huh.
And the guy is fascinatingly uh, insane, but in a way that's like all of us. Because wouldn't we all like to get a story out there and get lost in making a story? Maybe I relate to it more than other people. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Least favorite though. Was that the question too? A least
yes.
favorite?
Yes.
Uh oh shit. I feel like there was something on. God, I can't say this though. Because I don't want anyone involved to be disappointed in me.
Yeah.
I tried over and over to get in, and I would get so angry.
It made you
Some people
angry?
hate what I do, okay? And I think there's plenty of interesting ideas. I think because I
Mhm.
read those comics too. Like there's a way they're written that is just not for me. Like the
Yeah.
sense of humor or like, the snarkiness. I don't even know what it is, but I would it's like I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch a couple episodes. My girlfriend's binging them,
Mhm.
and then I'd be like, I have to get up. And that doesn't happen for anything.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the only reason I have an answer is because I reacted so strongly to it.
To be fair, was like a bit of a weaker version of the Venture Brothers, which a
Oh yeah,
lot.
I mean, everything seems like a weaker version of the Venture Brothers.
It's kind of
I I
true.
I I don't even want to watch. First reaction is like, didn't I watch 6 seasons of Adventure Brothers already? Why
Yeah.
would I watch DC's version?
Like the one that I really think is the real like successor. Like, I mean, it's nowhere near as good. I do love that show. I love that show a lot, but it is like the Venture Brothers is, like it's so hard to like get close to. But there's a lot of things right now that do kind of feel even like the MCU itself. Well, a lot of what they try to do feels like a weaker version of the Venture Brothers.
I remember I felt that way with. I don't even know if I felt it was weaker at first, but my first watch of Thor Ragnarok, I was like, shit, they're just
Yeah.
doing Venture Brothers jokes now,
Yes.
and but then Thor 4 sucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sucked so much. I was when I
Yeah.
think that's the only times I've gone to a theater and legit be disappointed. Like I get annoyed at my friends for saying they hate things or they say things suck. Any critique like that, I don't like. I try and be like, okay, I also am someone who makes controversial things that maybe only I understand. I want to understand. I want to look at it and see what's there and understand it and enjoy it and let myself have a good time. Shit, there was a whole thing when Dave and I went to see that movie Bros as a
Mhm.
joke, kind of. Dave will tell you, like, oh yeah, Max was like laughing. I'm like, I like to let myself laugh. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't the best movie at all, but it's like, no, I want to see what they're trying to do to be funny. I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's uh, that said, Thor 4 is terrible.
Yeah.
I like Taika Waititi. I don't want to let him become a laughing stock who's just got lost in having threesomes and too many projects at once. I want him to do great things.
Yeah.
But Thor 4 sucks.
No, yeah.
Am I?
Are you okay with talking about Disney ripping off your ideas?
Oh, in the joke
We're
about
talking about the ship of Theseus.
the ship of. Oh yeah, they did that. They did Ship of Theseus, and then they went to the Egyptian afterworld. They literally had the same line,
They did
almost that
both.
I had in Moon Knight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I mean
did
it's not
both.
a ripoff. It's not a ripoff, but it's fun to say it is.
No, yeah,
Where's my money, Mr. Feige?
DC stealing your content. Is there anyone you wanted to get in this show that you couldn't get?
Uh, huh. I can't. I don't think so, but I don't think I was crazy ambitious either.
Yeah.
I
And
got
this doesn't seem
someone
like
who's uncredited in the second season.
uh-huh. So, was season 2 ever going to be like another 4-hour thing, or did you always intend it to be like
No, I
episodes?
was like, let me transition this into a show.
Yeah.
That's what it was intended from the beginning. And I remember it was like a month or two after the April Fools came out that I was like, had the idea. I was like, oh, afterworlds. He's dead. Afterlives. That's a big part of religions.
Hmm.
And at first I'd written it with sports in mind. And I think Lazo said, don't do sports. I don't know if he's right about it, but I appreciate that. I think it became something else that it's not about sports. And it's
Yeah,
about
also,
music. Right? It's about
yeah.
music, is it?
Did you have to wait? Did you have to wait for that renewal? Or did they immediately go like, yeah, make more of it?
Uh I think I had to talk with Mike and I had to send him some scripts and he was like, in and out, and then he retired and then but I think he convinced Walter Newman and the other developers to be like, sure, yeah, do it. So
Cool.
I had a radio play, I think, for the first episode
Yeah.
as a proof of concept in December that following year.
Yeah.
And they were saying, okay, yeah, we'll get budget. You could start animating these. And I was like, yes.
Um, so I do a kind of thing on here because I run an account called Adult Swim Merch Archive where I just post like all the bullshit waste my money on. And so I do like to do sort of like a merch corner sometimes on this show.
Hmm.
So for Gemusetto merch, you can get the drumsticks, which I have. It's the only one that I do have is the drumsticks. There's also a tennis ball, I think, with the logo on it.
Yeah.
There's the Makasu body pillow.
I forgot about that. That shit's awesome.
Is that it? Is that the only three pieces of merch there are?
I think so, but they're good ones.
Yeah, they're good ones.
I have some of the action figures, whatever, that were from the first season.
That would be like a
The
1065
dolls.
item.
Yeah. Except I want to keep them.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I have the drumsticks. I have the Death Beats drumsticks. I've seen on Adult Swim. I miss getting their bullshit. I have not posted Sir Squirt on the Adult Swim merch archive. I don't know if it's disrespectful or not because he is like technically someone's pet. Um,
He's dead.
yeah. What do you
Post it.
think? Think I should post it?
Yeah, I don't care. Oh, maybe I have the least amount of empathy, according to Dave and Cho, or I think Matt would think it's fine.
Yeah.
No, it's
Let's
fine.
see. We can probably start wrapping this up here. So the big question I want to ask is if you were given the opportunity to do more, kind of like the Kingstar King special or like the Aqua Teen movie, if you could do like more Gemuseru, would you want to do more? Would you want to like, or do you think that story's done?
No, I think I have ideas.
Yeah.
I had one that was called Gemusetto Highest Noons, which is an idea I had pretty quickly after the second season, because
Hmm.
I liked the idea of treating Twone and Titty's boat kind of like um the bathhouse in Spirited Away. I
Yeah.
felt like it could feel like a strange character in itself and have weird passengers.
Yeah.
I like the idea of her, Dr. Legs, and Josie traveling
So there'd
uh
be
purgatories, and there was an idea that it would culminate. Like if in my head it was a movie that's
mhm.
like, oh, let's look at these goofy three characters doing fucking. They work in the afterlife. One
Uh-huh.
has noodle arms, one's a breast on their head, one's made a hand. But already that's like, okay, yeah, spirits. Like, fucking if you went to the spirit world in the Avatar cartoon, you could see that. Don't have to
Yeah.
explain it. You could just be in flat, straight. These are three people who have a boat, like, because Titty is just like what's his face on the river Styx. Like they are called psychopomps,
Uh-huh.
and they that is in spiritual texts or mythology. That's something a psychopomp basically takes you to your afterlife. So the idea of following psychopomps is interesting. The spiritual guide of a soul is a psychopomp. So
Hmm.
I think we could come in with little introduction, hear people on a boat dealing with souls, and then
Yeah.
the way it would really tie into Gemusetto is global warming is caused by Inti having won, and they have to go stop him in like a Wild West world or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's where it went, and it was like I think we even I had I think Laholtzen made like sprite art for it too, like all the
Uh-huh.
characters as sprites, and it was called Highest Noons.
Would you put would Makasu be in that or would be no
No, he'd
Makasu
be gone.
whatsoever?
He'd be gone.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with your magnum opus here or your masterpiece?
Well, I appreciate everybody who's listened. Uh, I love all of you. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and listening to this podcast. I hope it's cool. I hope I didn't misrepresent anybody or do anything stupid again. Oh my God, I hate it. That said, oh shit. Trying to find. I once tried to make an SRPG for Gemusetto, like a
Hmm,
Fire Emblem type game.
that'd be
Um,
awesome.
yeah, and it was like gonna retell like the story a little bit. And Rich and I said to each other, "Oh, maybe we should release a jazz album of all the songs called Gemusetto Macchiato."
That'd be
It's like
so
just a
good.
chill. I'll show you. I'll send you right now the graphic I made for it. Oops, oops, and then I accidentally deleted my messages with Rich. Okay. I don't think they're deleted. I think they're hidden. Anyway, I was going to say, if people like things that are similar to what I make, I'm most likely not involved with a YouTube channel called Faraone Productions, Faraone, means Pharaoh in Italian. They started with a series of an ARG on a cartoon that apparently an Italian company made in the 80s called Gilbert Garfield, where Gilbert Gottfried played Garfield. That's crazy. And now they're releasing clips from other projects they made, including an anime for the Japanese in the 80s where cats in robot suits play soccer, but it seems to be mostly about teen issues, and a movie made in the early 2000s where Shia LaBeouf played Oyster Boy. Wow, this is
They do
fun
great
stuff.
work at Ferrone. They do great work over
It's
there.
interesting things, and I'm pretty sure they have a Patreon, and I think it's worth looking at if you like web content that isn't as well produced as Meat Canyons or not drawn as well.
And you can follow this podcast on Twitter at Owls Only Pod.
Please follow this podcast on Owls Only Pod.
You can follow me on Twitter. I mostly just retweet stuff at Mouse
Please follow
Fitzgerald without the D.
Bryce.
You can follow my Instagram, Adult Swim Merch Archive. You can see me post shit that I get from Dave Bonowitz in the mail.
Please.
Follow Swimpedia. Swimpedia does great work. I'm big friends with everybody over there, so follow Swimpedia, that kind of stuff.
Please follow Swimpedia on Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, all that. All right, we can wrap this up. You got anything else?
Please go to look up J. Kenji Lopez on YouTube. Watch his cooking videos. I think they're very non-pretentious. He welcomes a lot of people's just cooking with what you got at home. Just watch that.
Hell yeah.
Watch that on YouTube. And Faraone Productions. Watch Paul T. Goldman. And just send me good vibes.
Watch Gemusetto on HBO Max. Make your
watch
friends watch it.
Gemusetto on fucking HBO Max. And guess what? Here's our song to end the whole show. If you got some time to relax and you're not sure what to do, just turn on Gemusetto on HBO Max and watch the adventures of Makasu. You're gonna really like it. And if you don't, you can just turn it off.